Let's welcome man Yannick Scared in the building. Yannick, how are you doing?
My man, how's it going? Good to be back.
It does. I haven't heard or seen from you in a long time. Why is that, Yannick?
Well, I took the plunge a little bit before you to the married life, so
Yeah.
I've been focused on that for the last couple months.
Congratulations, my man.
My man, yeah, man.
How
And
did?
you're following close behind me.
Yes, yes. In about 2.5 months, I will be there also, man. How did the wedding go? How did that go?
Wedding was excellent. A lot more fun than I thought it would be. So yeah, no real complaints. Had it on the rooftop in the middle of summer, which I don't know if I thought that through. But other than that, it was pretty good.
Hey man, I saw the pictures, man. It looked lovely, and everyone I know that went, they say they enjoyed themselves, man. And that's what it's for, man. That's what it's for, man. So yeah, you and I off air, we will be talking about some things. And I need, since you jumped the broom before I did, I need some advice. All right.
Oh, I got plenty.
Let's also welcome my man Jacob. Jacob, man, how's everything, man?
What's up, dude? Yeah.
It was great to see you this weekend, man.
I know. It was fun running into you on U Street.
Outside of the studio. It was great
know.
seeing you and Sherm and the friends.
I know.
That's what's up, man.
You're just as cool outside the studio as you are.
Hey, that's I appreciate that, man. How was the weekend though, man?
No, it was great. I had some friends. I had my sister. Went out, had some food, saw some stuff.
Good weather tonight, this
Good
weekend
weather.
too.
Yep.
Outside of today, today it's pouring rain.
Honestly, I was gonna ride my bike, and now I have an excuse to just take an Uber and take it easy. So.
Yep. Man, oh man. Well, we got a lot to get into. Yannick, man, I'm excited that you're here because you always bring a different perspective. And so we have a lot to talk about. NFL news. Cutler got signed. We'll talk about that. Also, Hall of Fame induction. Michael Jordan says Kobe's better than LeBron. We'll get into that. Okay, you're laughing. Wow. So I want to hear what you got to say when it's time. The Dodgers are white hot right now in Major League Baseball. And we have a lot more to talk about. Let's start with our weekend quick hitters. Neymar transferred from Barcelona to Paris PSG.
PSG.
Yep. One of the probably the biggest transfer in soccer history. Now, Yannick, I assume that you are more familiar with club soccer than I am. Explain it. I know what a transfer is, but explain it better for our viewers and listeners.
Oh man, I was hoping you would do, but I think it's pretty much like you can get a player for your part of the season. You could transfer over, but I think this is actually going to be. They had FC Barcelona was having problems with Neymar. You had the coach coming out saying nobody's bigger than Barcelona, so I guess with the money and all that stuff, they were trying to get out of the contract, and they got PSG to kind of sign him. So it's kind of really like how you see with free agency here.
Yeah, that was my understanding. It was like free agency, but among multiple leagues. Like, for example, let's just say there was another football league in America that was just as popular as the NFL. It was almost like basically trading that player from one league to another. So that was my understanding of it. I think your interpretation was a lot easier to understand than mine. But yeah, Neymar was just here 2 weeks ago when Barcelona played Manchester United here at FedEx Field. And then they also had the El Clasico that was here in the States. First time that has ever happened. So that was his last game when they played against Real Madrid. So that was the last game of Barcelona. So now he's going to be with PSG, which is one of the biggest teams in the French league. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that goes down. For those that don't follow club soccer, the season's about to start up.
Yeah,
it has
it's around fall time. Yeah,
it's a very similar schedule to American football. and the buzz and the pageantry is just as big. So, the last like year and a half, I've been kind of following just like casually some of the games. What I do like NBC Sports Net, what they do, they have a lot of the games, of course, on the weekend, but they also do like these like half-hour condensed games.
Those,
yeah, and those are like so interesting to watch because you literally see every exciting time of the game in half an hour. And soccer already is a short game when you think about it. It's an hour and it's about an hour and 45 to be honest. After the
play it from beginning to end.
Yep. You have the 15-minute halftime and then an hour and a half of actual game time. So it's a very short game already, and they condense it in 30 minutes. So it's pretty good. So I've been kind of following it. Also, living in this area, it was a very diverse area here. You get a lot of soccer fans. MLS is becoming more popular.
Yeah.
A lot of these teams are no longer playing in someone else's stadium. They're getting their own soccer-specific stadiums. DC United is going to get theirs soon. I think they broke ground already.
Yeah.
So they'll be coming soon. But you have new teams coming in. Another LA team coming in. There's a team in Miami that'll be coming soon. There's a team already in Orlando. It's over 20 teams, right, in the league, right? In MLS.
So.
Yeah.
If it's not over 20 right now, yeah.
Yeah, you have teams.
LA's going to get another team.
Yeah, Toronto has a team. So we're in now Canada and, of course, the United States. Soccer's definitely becoming more popular. Will the MLS, and I'm not saying anytime soon because the English Premier League is over 100 years old, will MLS ever get to the level of, I guess, the respect level of the English Premier League or the Spanish League or the French League?
In my opinion, no. The only way they could do it is if they do the relegation that you see in the English Premier League. I think they actually had an offer from like a broadcaster, like, hey, if you do the relegation, we'll give you such and such amount of dollars, which really would have helped them compete in getting big players to come over here. And they said no. And so I just feel that they'll just never be able to get the talent because, one, they won't have the money to get the talent, and two, just the way the league's set up, I don't think they'll ever get the respect of those other leagues.
Now, we do have some former players who are playing outside of the United States then making their way to MLS. So I think once we get a few more respectable players, and literally if one superstar decides in their prime that they're going to play in the MLS, I think it is going to bring more credibility and respectability to the league. But yeah, the money definitely isn't there yet. It is definitely a lot better than when it started 20 years ago. Because guys 20 years ago were, I mean, we know people that have desk jobs that were getting paid more than them.
It wasn't me, though.
and now you're getting guys who are making like $1 million or $2 million a year, which is pretty good right now, especially when you think about it compared to the NFL, where the average salary in the NFL is actually only like $2 or $3 million anyway. So it's getting there. I think maybe like 30, 40 years, it's going to become a popular league. Maybe not on the level as the English Premier League. You'll always be behind just because of time and legacy, but I think it will be a league where people wouldn't mind starting their career and ending their career also there. Also, what happened this weekend with Usain Bolt, man?
Oh, yeah.
Usain Bolt.
I missed it. I was taking a nap. I was like, I got to wake up for it. Took a nap, woke up, saw all the text, and had to rewind and watch what happened. Yeah, it was nuts. Michael Jordan on the Wizards.
Yeah. Usain Bolt lost what is believed to be his last race of his track and field career, individual race in his track and field career. It was the 100-meter dash. Justin Gatlin won gold in the World Championship, which is in London right now. Usain Bolt, I must say, the day before in the semifinal heat, he didn't look too good either.
Yeah.
But, we give him the benefit of the doubt and say, he's going to coast his way. And then at the end, put on the Jets, and that's what happened in the semifinal heat, and that's kind of what happened in the championship heat, the medal heat, because he started out really slow, and he caught back up and got third, so he got bronze. But for Usain Bolt, that is not the standard that he should be striving for. That's not the standard that we think he should have. Great career, one of the best sprinters ever. I'm already saying it. One of the best ever. He's up there with Carl Lewis and Michael Johnson and guys like Donovan Bailey. Of course, on the women's side, FloJo and Jackie Joyner-Kersee and Marion Jones. He's up there as one of the greatest sprinters in track and field history. Let's move on to the NFL right now. Pro Football Hall of Fame induction weekend. We had quite a few guys get in there. Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys owner, got in as a contributor. Jason Taylor, defensive end, he got in. Kenny Easley. Hold on, I have the name wrong. Let me look that up real quick. He was safety for the Seahawks. Now, I'm going to ask you that, Yannick. Did you even know who he was?
No. Before my time. If it wasn't on Madden 94, I don't know who he was.
Yeah, he was definitely before our time. I would say that. But then I had to go back and see who this guy was. Man, he was pretty good. Him and Steve Atwater were like the safeties, from the mid to late 80s that were dominating, And they were, like they said, assassins out there in center field or in the safety position. You also had Terrell Davis, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Morton Anderson. Let me go through real quick. Oh, and Kurt Warner. We didn't mention Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner was a 2-time MVP, Super Bowl MVP. And appeared in another Super Bowl. You want to hear some of Kurt Warner's stats right now? Kurt Warner, when he came into the league and he threw for 40 touchdowns, he was at the time only the second quarterback in NFL history to throw 40 touchdowns in a season. At the time, he was only the second person. That's phenomenal. Also, the third person, which was actually the same season, that 99 season. You want to guess who that quarterback is? I'm going to give you the team he played for at the time, the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, boy.
In 1999. Who was the quarterback, Yannick?
That's not Berline. I'm going to go with Kerry Collins.
You were correct. Steve Berline. It was Steve Berline.
Oh, Berline. Okay.
Yes, you were correct at first. It was him.
I got to trust myself, man.
And when I heard it, I was like, hold on, Steve Berline threw 40 touchdowns that year? I had to go back and look. I said, wow, he was balling that year. Kurt Warner took all the glory that year. Kurt Warner, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, 4-time Pro Bowl, 2-time first team All-Pro, 2-time MVP. He was the passing leader in 2001. He's inducted in the Cardinals Ring of Honor and the Rams Ring of Honor. This guy came from the Arena Football League and was stocking grocery shelves before he got a shot. And if it wasn't for Trent Green's gruesome injury, he would not have gotten a shot or the shot that he was looking for. So that is phenomenal. What you got to say about Kurt Warner?
Oh, yeah, what you just said. I know we're going to talk about Ryan Tannehill's injury, and just a simple fact of Dick Vermeil trusting in Kurt Warner and that press conference where he said, we're going to rally around Kurt and we're going to play good football. And a couple months later, he's lifting up the Super Bowl trophy. And that's just a phenomenal story and just a phenomenal organization that they had around them where they're like, nah, this is our guy. we're going to go with him. He's kind of like a poor man's Tom Brady, if you think about it, because Trent Green went down just like Drew Bledsoe went down, and they were like, all right, we're going to trust this guy. He's going to lead us, and we're going to do it. And sure enough, now you see him in the Hall of Fame. It's amazing how many athletes that first glance was scouted, and they're like, nah, they're not going to do it. They're not going to be anything. And now they're up in the Hall of Fame. It just goes to show that all this is just a crapshoot, and that's what makes sports amazing.
Yeah. Interesting thing. Wasn't that season going to be Trent Green's first season with the Rams?
Yeah, it's his first season with the Rams.
He had just signed that big
playoff team. Trent Green was going to be the guy to lead them to deep into the playoffs, and then he got hurt third week of the season, in the preseason, and it looked like it's going to be downhill from there. But
I remember that because Trent Green played for the Washington Redskins, had a good year and a half, and he went over
to the Rams.
He was the big free agent quarterback on the market, and usually you just don't get free agent quarterbacks. Usually quarterbacks are typically going to be on the same team, usually. And that was a big move. And then, of course, in the second or third preseason game, his knee gets shredded by Rodney Harrison, and things change for the good of the team. Terrell Davis, running back of the Denver Broncos, 2-time Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl MVP, 3-time Pro Bowl, 3-time first-team All-Pro. He was the most valuable player in 1998, Offensive Player of the Year in 96 and 98, 2-time rushing touchdown leader, and the 90s All-Decade Team. And his career, even though it was not long, it's only 6 seasons, he did leave a mark on the NFL. It was kind of sad, of course, when he got that tragic knee injury, but he's still one of he's well deserving to be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Also, we spoke about him earlier. Kenny Easley, strong safety for the Seattle Seahawks. He had his career shortened because of kidney failure, and he actually had a strained relationship with the Seattle Seahawks because he believes his kidney failure stemmed from the massive amount of painkillers that they were giving him. And I'm leaning toward him because it's now proven that, these NFL doctors were giving them Toradol, which is really bad.
Tranquilizer, pretty much, they're giving these guys. Did you see that the league is now, they're now finally going to do marijuana studies to see if it will help? And it's like, you would inject these guys with every type of substance that you would give horses and whatever, but then you have this other thing that there are some studies, I don't know if they're official studies, that said it can help them out, or at least to give them with their headaches or whatever in marijuana, medicinal marijuana, and they're like, no. And it's just the double standard that the league has now been exposed to having, and people really know about it. So it's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a real double standard, especially where there is medical marijuana out there. And it's been proven that it helps with a lot of things, seizures, migraines, pain, respiratory. For some people, it helps with respiratory issues, which shockingly, who would have thought that you would actually smoke something and it makes your breathing a little better. The NFL, they've been doing all sorts of shady things with these shady doctors. It's about time that they hopped on board. And I do not use marijuana, but I mean, it's pretty much legal in a lot of places right now. So why not allow these players to use it responsibly? Remember Sam Hurd, the wide receiver that's now in jail for drug trafficking?
Oh yeah.
This might not sound too good, but he started out using marijuana because he said he was suffering from headaches and neck and back pain from just, playing football. And he said, you know what? The pain really started to go away. And not only that, he was able to focus better. And this was one thing that Bill Parcells did say about Sam Hurd. He said, he wasn't the most talented wide receiver on the team. However, he knew every wide receiver duty on every play. Most wide receivers only know their duty. he knew everyone, and he said, he was able to, stay more focused and more just healthier when he started using it. Now, of course, he got greedy and wanted to then.
I was about to say he needed to stay focused on his main job, he not needed the side hustle.
Yeah, he needed to stay focused on the main job. Yeah, because the main job is football, and the side hustle was
or maybe football was his side hustle. We never know. Maybe it's like I'm gonna be Nino Brown out here. That was his dream in life. So
you are right. You are right. Football might have been the side hustle right there. He was out here being your local kingpin. Right. And he is in jail. But back to the marijuana use, I think NFL should definitely allow players to use medicinal marijuana, especially with all the things that's going on. Also, the threshold that's currently in the drug policy for the NFL. Do you know a pilot can be, I guess, quote unquote, higher than an NFL player? An airplane pilot, when they get drug tested, they're allowed more marijuana in their system than an NFL player. It's 10 times more.
Jeremy, making me nervous for this flight I got to take it.
When it comes to the NFL, your players are only allowed 5 nanograms of marijuana or THC in their system. A airplane pilot, this is by FAA regulations, is permitted 50 nanograms of THC in their system. 10 times more than an NFL player. So just think about that. Just think about that. Jason Taylor. I know you're a Redskins fan, so you didn't like his stint in Washington, but he had a great career with the Dolphins and had a decent stint with the Jets. Jason Taylor also inducted into the Hall of Fame. Morton Anderson.
Did he say something like, "Thanks, Dan Snyder, for letting me steal your money" in his speech or something like that?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I was like, you know what? Everything's forgiven for you saying that.
Yes, he did. Because he only had 2 sacks that year, right?
Yeah.
He definitely
he was a bank robber, my man.
He was a scammer.
I'm not mad at him though.
LaDainian Tomlinson, touchdown leader, rushing touchdown, most rushing touchdowns of the season. Had a great stretch with the Chargers and had a decent stint with the Jets. He spoke about during his speech how football is microcosm of the United States and how it's a very diverse game, and get people from all walks and different backgrounds and being able to work together. And he's saying if this country could work together like a football team, things will be a lot better. Tomlinson, I think it was 2 years ago, went back to where he lived, or where his family lived in Texas, and found out how he got his last name Tomlinson. It is the slave owner's name. And he realized with the historian that everyone with the last name Tomlin is related in Texas. So he got to meet other family members, and it was a cool thing. They did it on Football Life on the NFL Network. So it was pretty cool. So he saw, at first and the historian told him how, when slavery was abolished, how, the slave owner, of course, it was actually before slavery was abolished. The owner had actually let his slaves go, and the family still lived within the estate. So you had all the different, basically the entire huge family stayed on the estate, and even up until his grandfather lived in one of the homes there. So he went back and he saw the history. So, he spoke about that during the Hall of Fame speech, and it was pretty cool to hear that story again. If you want to hear more about it, you can definitely check it out on NFL Network, Football Life. And then Jerry Jones, owner of the Cowboys, inducted as a contributor. When he bought the team in 1989, I bought it for I think it was like $100 million or something like that, and now Dallas Cowboys are worth $4.2 billion. Not only that, Jerry Jones was pretty instrumental in getting the Rams back to LA instrumental in getting the Raiders to Las Vegas, also getting other teams into the league, getting the NFL with their uniforms, their jerseys, hooking up with Nike. And it was probably one of the best moves that they were able to do. Also, other things that he has helped with, concession, revenue, and things like that. So Jerry Jones gets in as a contributor. And Morten Andersen, kicker. I did not know this. Morten Andersen is Hungarian. I had no idea. No, not Hungarian. Sorry,
he was like
Danish.
Danish,
He's from Denmark. Yes, sorry, not Hungarian. Danish. Yeah, I didn't know that. And he was during his speech, he was talking about that and how they told him you're gonna be the kicker, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna kick the ball, but then he didn't realize that there will be 11 guys trying to kill him while he's kicking the ball. So, and the coach said, just kick it in there, or I'm sending you back to Denmark. And the rest is history. The Hall of Fame kicker. Real quick, why is Terrell Owens not in the Hall of Fame yet?
Oh, politics as usual, my man. Simple as that. He doesn't suck up. He didn't suck up to the media, and the media is getting it back for him. So people like me are the ones keeping Terrell Owens out.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
Terrell Owens should have been a first ballot Hall of Fame.
First ballot.
He's already
the numbers.
he already.
I would actually like to see the arguments that people have against Terrell Owens getting in. If you're not one of those that say like, hey, one to keep it real. It's like, yeah, it's politics. I don't like the guy.
Yeah,
what could you say?
The argument is that he was not a good locker room player. That's the argument.
Who cares about that? It's a Hall of Fame individual award.
Exactly.
So that doesn't really mean anything.
It is an individual award, and I feel like I agree with you.
I know that. I mean, he played in the Super Bowl. It's not like he say he didn't have success. He played in the Super Bowl. He had the game-winning catch in a playoff game. One of the most remembered plays in the last 20 years.
Yeah, the catch too. So yeah, it's crazy that he's not in there. Next year he better make it, man. He better make it in there. Also, okay, some other NFL news. Ryan Tannehill goes down with a non-contact knee injury. It still isn't even clear what the injury is, but it looks like it may be a sprain. They're not sure if it's a complete tear. Still weighing their options to see if he did they decide on surgery yet, Yannick?
I have not seen anything about them signing off on the surgery.
Yeah, but it does look like he'll be out for an extended period of time. So the Miami Dolphins decided to sign Jay Cutler, who was less than a month away from broadcasting NFL games. Jay Cutler does have ties to head coach Adam Gase. He worked with him in Chicago. Adam Gase also worked with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning said that's probably the smartest football mind he has ever worked with. And Adam Gase was able to get Cutler's best year of production out of him in Chicago. So to me, it did seem like, all right, you know what? It kind of makes sense that you'll go after that guy. The only thing that had me a little worried was this guy was less than a month away from broadcasting games. So was he in NFL shape?
Because even that, when they first said, "Yo, we want to sign you," Cutler was like, "Nah, I'm good." They had to throw him even more money.
Yeah.
So they literally took a guy that we questioned whether he even wanted to play, and they were like, "No, you do just take some more money. You do want to play." Which kind of transitions to the things you heard about Colin Kaepernick, where we were like, oh, does he really want to play? We have Cutler, who literally told you, I don't want to play.
Yep.
And they still signed him anyway.
Yeah, it is confirmed that he said he did not want to play because he said his first answer was no. And Adam Gase had to then continue contacting him. He went dark over the weekend.
Yeah, he went dark because
he just wouldn't respond.
Late last week, they were like, yeah, we don't know about Cutler. Because that's when it first came out, like, oh, Cutler was signed. And then it was like, nope, no Cutler. And then, oh, it's Cutler.
So a lot of people are saying, oh, it's a great move.
I like the move. I can't wait to see the 4-interception game against the Patriots. I'm looking forward to that.
So
but you know.
So you like it for other reasons.
Yes, I like it for my sheer entertainment so I can laugh at the Dolphins.
Look, okay, let me say this. This is the one time where I say the Dolphins signing Cutler was probably a better decision than signing Kaepernick. This is the one time I'm going to say this. This is the one team and the one situation where I think Cutler signing before Kaepernick, it was the smart move. However, a lot of people are going on all the way on the to the extreme where they're saying this team could compete for a Super Bowl. I'm hearing that already, that they can make a run at the AFC East and that they could compete for a Super Bowl because of now he has weapons like Jarvis Landry and Devontae Parker and Kenny Stills. All I'm gonna say is this: I'm not gonna be surprised if the Dolphins still don't make the playoffs this year. I am not going to be surprised because Colin Kaepernick. Jay Cutler has proven that he can go through some major slumps and he could look like he doesn't care while he's going through those slumps. And a guy, like I said, a guy who was a month away from broadcasting NFL games, how focused was he actually in playing? So that's going to be the interesting thing with that. Yannick, we did lose you, but are you back on?
I'm back here. Okay. I'm back.
All right, cool. So, yeah, like I was saying, I just kind of find it interesting that a lot of people are now saying that there are Super Bowl contenders now.
Who said that?
I'm hearing it from social media. I'm hearing it from some NFL experts that, they can make a run at the Super Bowl. I'm not saying like they're like top contenders, but if things fall in place, they could, if they win a playoff game, you never know what can happen.
Haven't been watching Jay Cutler for the last 10, 12 years.
who has one playoff victory? He has one playoff victory, by the way.
Yeah,
that is not too good. But I mean, like I said, this is the one time I think Colin Kaepernick not being signed first or not being the first choice kind of made sense just because of the familiarity of Gase and Cutler. Now, going to Colin Kaepernick, still unsigned. The Ravens last week, you had general managers Ozzie Newsome say, yeah, we're interested in him. And we would actually like him. You have John Harbaugh, head coach of the Ravens, said, yeah, we would like him to at least come here and be a backup, and especially where we don't know what's happening with Flacco. You had players like Terrell Suggs, Super Bowl winner with that team, has a lot of respect within that organization. Benjamin Watson and other guys who said, you know what, yeah, we wouldn't mind if he was here. He could definitely improve this team. You have a backup quarterback in Ryan Mallett who threw 6 interceptions in a intra-squad scrimmage. You have Dustin Vaughn, where a lot of people are going to say, who is Dustin Vaughn? I only know who Dustin Vaughn is because he was a backup for the Cowboys at one point, and I know him because of Madden. Like, not because of his skills. These guys are on the roster, and you had a lot of people on the team saying, yes, Colin Kaepernick will be an upgrade. Yet the owner, Steve Bisciotti, is all of a sudden polling his fans to figure out should we sign Colin Kaepernick? And he's saying he's not getting support from the fans to get him. So I just kind of find it interesting that and I know it's a different ownership, but the fans were not, their opinion of Ray Lewis was not asked when Ray Lewis had his run-in with the law.
Ray Rice.
Well, I'm going back to Ray Lewis. I'm going all the way back. Ray Lewis had something too. Yeah, I'm going all the way back. I know it's a different ownership. Yeah, the fans, their feelings about Ray Lewis was not thought about or considered. Going to Terrell Suggs when he had his domestic violence issue with his wife, the fans were not considered. Ray Rice was literally a day from returning back to the team before the TMZ video dropped, but the fans were not considered with their decision on Ray Rice. Dante Stallworth, who vehicular homicide. Yep. Driving drunk. Killed a pedestrian, vehicular homicide. Dante Stallworth spent time in jail, came out. Ravens signed him also. Also then played with a couple other teams after that fact.
Yeah, I think the Redskins.
Redskins and the Eagles, and yeah. But the fans were not consulted or considered. Their opinions were not considered when it came to signing those guys. But now all of a sudden, Colin Kaepernick is available, and there's a need for a quarterback. And it's like, I need to ask the fans now. So I remember on my Instagram page, I posted a photo of Ravens owner and GM and head coach, and I asked the question, do you all really believe this is about football now? We're more than a year now, and we're like, is this really about football? We've heard every excuse. The goalpost, like they say, the goalpost has been moved every time for why Colin Kaepernick is not on the team. And I think it's really evident that it's not football related. When you are asking your fans, hey, would you like us to sign this player? You're obviously not thinking about football. You're thinking about the marketing. You're thinking about the publicity. So, in my opinion, I don't think the Ravens are going to really do much this season because obviously you're not focused on football. This is maybe one example, but it's a big example of how wins on the football field is not a priority. And I do predict the Ravens probably won't make the playoffs this year. And we're not sure what's happening with Flacco yet. One day they're saying, oh, yeah, he's fine. The next day it's like, we still don't know. And what if Flacco's still healthy? He's ready for week 1, but we do know that Ryan Mallett is some garbage. So why don't you shore that up? The backup position at least. Also, Joe Flacco said, you know what? Kaepernick should be in the league. And he did say, I don't want him here because he might take my job. And he said it in jest. But, he said, look, he should be playing on an NFL team. So it's just quite interesting that what the Ravens are doing right now. But another team that is not being spoken about that has some quarterback issues, and maybe tell me if you agree with this or not, Yannick. The Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck may not be ready for week 1. And do you know who
wow. I didn't even hear that. Okay.
Yeah, there's a possibility he may be placed on the PUP list, which means he won't be eligible until week 6 or 8. So if he isn't available, by the way, he hasn't participated in anything in training camp already. He's dealing with the shoulder injury. If you're the Colts, are you really going into the season with Scott Tolzien as your starting quarterback?
Hey, I mean, if their plan is to go 3-13 and get the number 1 pick next year, well, I guess it's a quarterback, so that wouldn't really work out.
Maybe they do what they did to Peyton Manning and say, "Hey, we'll take Donald."
I did not know that Luck would not be ready. First, that's very good fantasy news for me.
Yeah, Luck is not looking lucky right now. He may not start the season. There's a possibility he may be placed on the PUP list.
Heck, we don't even need to talk about injuries. Look at what Richard Sherman said. Every one of the quarterbacks on the Jets stink.
Yeah, Richard Sherman came to the defense of Colin, and this is not the first time. He's done it numerous times. But him, Michael Bennett, Malcolm Jenkins, and a whole cast of other guys came out and spoke about it and said, "Look, man, there's other quarterbacks who are not as good as Kaepernick, and they're on NFL teams."
I'll say this to move the conversation forward. And this is the reason why the NFL players don't have guaranteed contracts and probably will never get guaranteed contracts because the union's so fragmented and weak.
Yep.
I would love to see, because Colin Kaepernick, he stood up for his beliefs, and he knew it could cost him his job. I'm sure he thought he was going to get cut last year for doing that. And this, his stance and his showing his beliefs has cost him his job, which is brave. And I would love to see the players, instead of talking, say, "Hey, man, I'm not going to play because what's going on with this guy is not good. Hey, I'm not going to play until we get guaranteed contracts. Hey, I'm not going to play until our health is taken care of after we retire." I would love to see the players at one time actually find some type of thing that would push back against the owners, because until then you're going to have Steve Biscotti, or whatever how you say his name, saying, "Oh, pray for us as we deal with this Colin Kaepernick thing," and just show how hypocritical they are. And it's sad, but it's not. It's easy for me to say because I'm not making millions of dollars to play a game. But if they do want something to change, and they do want this guy in the league, and if they do see an injustice here where this guy who put up pretty good numbers, good enough numbers to start on the team or at least be a backup, is not in the league for whatever reason, then they should stand up and do something about it rather than just talk.
Yeah, you want to hear this interesting fact that has come out about Kaepernick and other quarterback openings. We spoke about Jay Cutler being signed by the Miami Dolphins. Do you know who was going to be the next option if Cutler really turned down the position?
I heard like Sam Ponder's husband. I won't even say his name.
You can't even say his name. Samantha Ponder's
the host of NFL Countdown.
Wow, you can't even say the man's name. You had to say his wife's name.
He's not good. He's not talented at football.
Yeah, Christian Ponder was one of them. Kyle Orton was one of them.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, and this will blow your mind even more. Because they actually considered this player. Tim Tebow was considered.
See, I would give you Tim Tebow if I'm trying to go 1-15, but make a whole lot of money doing it. That's actually a great move.
Tim Tebow is playing baseball right now. This dude is not Deion Sanders or Bo Jackson.
I wish the owner would just come out and say, "Yo, I don't want him on my team because I don't care about minority rights, and so whatever he talks about really doesn't mean anything to me." I would respect that owner so much.
It's crazy. Like, it's real crazy that these guys are actually considered for a little bit. Before we leave the NFL real quick, some news that's actually breaking right now. And I need to give a shout out to my man Harold Laws of BLK Sports 980. He reported on this Saturday and said there's a possibility that there is some legal issues going down with wide receiver Jarvis Landry of the Miami Dolphins. And he said he's not totally sure, but he is hearing that there may be issues. Now, within the last hour, reports are coming down that there's a possible domestic violence issue, event or incident that happened with Jarvis Landry. So I do need to give a shout out to my man Harold Laws because he spoke about that since Saturday.
Breaking news. I saw that post too.
He spoke about it Saturday, and now Monday morning, the mainstream media is definitely catching up. So shout out to my man Harold
He got
Laws.
sources, man.
He got sources, man. He got sources to catch that. Man, oh man. Let's quickly get to the NBA. Michael Jordan at his flight camp, said Kobe's better than LeBron James. And, he said simple things, 5 is better than more than 3. And he went on and on and on.
That's something that Michael Jordan would say, too.
That is something Michael Jordan would say. Also, Michael Jordan said he would beat LeVar Ball 1-on-1 if he was, quote, one-legged. Yes. And I do believe Michael Jordan. I think he could beat LeVar Ball with one leg. Michael Jordan also said Kawhi Leonard is the best two-way player in the game.
I like that one. I mean, he is a Jordan athlete, but I like that.
Let's put it like this. All three quotes, all three opinions, I agree with Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant, his career has ended, but his career was better than what LeBron James has done or has currently doing. However, I do believe LeBron still has a little bit to go, and if LeBron does a few more things, gets a few more accomplishments, I think a few years from now we could be saying LeBron James was a better basketball player or had a better career. Let me not say better basketball player because those are totally different things. In a few more years, we may be saying LeBron James had a better career than Kobe Bryant. Of course, he's better than LeVar Ball. We're not going to get into that. Kawhi Leonard, yes, I think he's the best two-way player, one of the best offensive players, and one of the best defensive players. So he will then be one of the best two-way players, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that, Yannick?
No to the Kobe LeBron argument. I think LeBron's better.
Okay.
A better basketball player. The LeVar Ball, I'm not even going to talk about that guy. And the Kawhi, that is very interesting. I know, like I say, he's a Kawhi's a Jordan brand guy, but that's a very interesting. I think that's based off of when somebody asked Jordan if Jordan could stop Michael Jordan type thing, which is referring to being a good two-way player. But I like this Jordan. I think Jordan has been somebody that's always been like, kind of like waffles back and forth between issues, doesn't really want to choose a side. But I like this Jordan that's like, hey, man, I'm going to tell you how I feel, and you're going to like it or not. I'm going to give it to you. And it shows you a side of Jordan that you never really see, especially for him to pick Kobe when Kobe is somebody that has imitated him for so long, and LeBron's just a different type of guy. You probably think he would pick LeBron, but he went with Kobe. So I like this. I like this brand of Jordan. I need this Jordan to stick around and maybe get a better stylist or something like that. But this Jordan, he's cool with me.
Yeah, I feel like Michael Jordan's just getting older, and he's like, I'm old. I'm gonna just say what I want to say.
About him anymore.
And I can't wait until he hits like 70, because he's going to say some outlandish things. Probably it's gonna be entertaining. Yeah. It's gonna be entertaining. Other NBA news. Well, actually, more basketball news. Allen Iverson missed the Big Three appearance last week. Just didn't show up. And we had jokes about that, how he wouldn't show up, but he actually did show up to the game last week in Dallas. Where were they this weekend? Because it's going to come on tonight. But where were they this weekend?
You know what? I have not been catching up with my Big Three action.
I must say,
I'm trying to pull it up right now. I don't even know where they were.
I must say,
Kentucky?
Okay. I love the concept of the Big Three. I like
it too.
Like, they're not trying to compete with the NBA, or they're not really trying to compete with the WNBA either. They say, look, we're going to play our games on Sunday, but we're not going to air them until Monday. We're going to be on Fox, FS1, and we're going to edit these games. So even though it's from 8 to 11, you get to see 4 basketball games. Like, they're accelerated games. You don't see a lot of the breaks and the stagnation. And then you get the inside the huddles. The players are mic'd. Like, did you see the confrontation between Steven Jackson and Charles Oakley?
The only thing I watched from it. That's the only thing I need to see.
Man,
Steven Jackson was like, "Oh, I love Oak."
Like, they were going at, like, they were about to have a fist fight on the sideline,
right?
And people are kind of like, "Wow, shocker! This is what happens on an NBA floor." Like, every night, there's one player that is so angry with their head coach. And this happens, but we get to see it. I love the Big Three concept. And next year, don't be surprised if players like Paul Pierce or Kevin Garnett end up being there. And don't be surprised if Kobe Bryant eventually makes it to the Big Three. And if Kobe Bryant is playing in the Big Three.
Yeah, that's the biggest.
Woo! If he is in the Big Three, dudes, it will be so competitive. It's already competitive, but Kobe will be like the assassin that he is. He's just going to raise the competition level. I think if he gets there, it's going to be must-see television. They may have to air those games live. They may have to.
If anything, and I guess they're going to do this barnstorming thing, if I were the league, I would have been like, yo, what do we have to do to make sure AI plays in Philly? Because I remember the week before, I think it was the week before when they were going to Philly, he came, but he coached. He didn't play, and everybody was disappointed. And then when they had the Dallas game, he doesn't even show up.
Yep.
That's kind of what you get for. I love AI. He's one of my favorite athletes growing up, but I wouldn't depend my multi-million-dollar operation on him showing up on time anywhere. If they were like, yo, I need AI to show up here at 6 o'clock for you to get $1 million, I'd be sorting it out because I'm not sure he would show up. So
yep.
It's a tough situation.
Definitely agree with you on that one. Let's quickly get to Major League Baseball. The Nationals won the weekend and season series with the Chicago Cubs. Yesterday, won in dramatic fashion. Matt Wieters hit a grand slam and put the Nats up. So the Nats won 2 games this weekend. Also, the Dodgers, they're crazy. They're on a hot stretch. And within the last 50 games, they've won 44 of them.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that is impressive. However, I am going to say this. wake me up when the playoffs come with the
Yeah,
Dodgers.
yeah.
Wake me
I
up.
like the Nets' chances against them. Well, of course, we'd have to get to the NLDS, but
Oh, I said at the beginning of the year, Nats and Astros World Series collision right there, and I'm still with it. Nats and Astros, I think definitely is going to happen. Also, some other Major League Baseball news: Matt Joyce suspended for 2 games for anti-gay slur mentioned toward a fan. He was being, according to him, he was heard some insults and he lost his temper and spew out those words. So he is now suspended for 2 games. I must say, I mean, I agree with the suspension, and I'm glad that professional sports are now, being very intolerant of homophobic and anti-gay slurs. So I'm glad it happened. We did see it with Kobe. Remember, Kobe had his issue with the referee.
yeah,
he got fined, and then after that, I felt like every incident, players were getting suspended, and which is great, man. Because let's be real, we don't want people calling black people the N-word. We don't want racial slurs. So why do you think sexual orientation slurs should be thrown out there? So yeah, we are being a little more progressive. So I am at least happy that the leagues are definitely doing this. And unfortunately, there was some sad news over the weekend with baseball. We had 2 Major League Baseball, former Major League Baseball players who died over the weekend. We had Don Baylor, who was an AL MVP in 1979. He passed away. And then Dalton, he played with the Phillies back in the 90s. They both passed away this weekend. So I know definitely family and friends and teammates and organizations and fans are going to definitely miss these 2 individuals. They're actually pretty good. Dalton won a World Series with the Marlins. He also he appeared in the World Series with the Phillies when they played against the Toronto Blue Jays. And then you had Baylor, who was an AL MVP in 1979. He also was the first manager for Denver, Colorado Rockies. So yeah, they will definitely be missed. Before we wrap up the show, I want to thank you, Yannick, for coming in or calling in. It's been a while. We haven't spoken. So it was great to hear from you. Great to get your perspective on sports. I want to thank you, Jacob, for everything that you do. Follow the Instagram page, Sports Reality LV, and the Twitter page. Also the Facebook page, Sports Reality. Make sure you go there, follow there. You get more content on there. You can see past shows and other posts. Until next time, everyone, Sports Reality. Peace.